Okay, so this is 9709 October November 2020, question 2. Okay, pretty easy. Let's start. A car of mass 1800 kilograms is traveling along a straight horizontal road. So it's on a horizontal road, there's no incline. The power of the car's engine is constant. Okay, there's a constant resistance to the motion of 650 newtons. Okay, so they're saying find the power if the acceleration is 0.5 meter per second squared when its speed is 20. So let's write our given. We know that the mass is 1800 kilograms. We know that the resistance force is 650 newtons. Okay, we know that acceleration at this instant is 0.5 meters per second squared, and v is equal to, again at this instant, is 20 meters per second. Okay, what's power equal to? We know that power is equal to force times velocity. We're missing here the force, but don't we have the mass and the acceleration? Yes. So what people do is they're going to do F is equal to ma, and they're going to do that the force is equal to 1800 times 0.5, and they're going to use the force as 900. This is completely wrong. Why is this wrong? Because you have a resistance force. Okay, so always I tell you, when you have forces, always draw your free body diagram so that you can see what's happening exactly. Okay, so you have the car, it's horizontal, so we can just use a straight y and x like this. Okay, so we have our weight going downwards, right? We have the engine force that I always say E. We have the resistance force R, and we always have the normal reaction upwards. Okay, so what do we know? We're looking at the horizontal forces. Obviously, N and W, we don't care. We know it's accelerating, right? So the horizontal forces, the sum of all the forces, is equal to ma. Sigma fx is equal to ma. So you say E minus R is equal to ma. Why E minus R? Because we know obviously it's accelerating, so the E force is greater than the R. So E, you always write the first one is the direction you're accelerating in. Since we're going to the right, obviously in the direction of the force, E, then minus R equals ma. Okay, this is all easy stuff. Other people, they skip the FBD completely, and what they do is they just use sigma F is equal to ma immediately, and they say that, they just subtract friction. They just subtract the resistance force. They do this. Okay, they do this directly. Why I don't recommend you doing this is because sometimes you might miss something. Okay, so always when you have more than one force, resistance forces, especially when you have a resistance force, okay, draw the FBD. Okay, whenever you're working with F, draw the FBD so you know exactly what force. Okay, anyways, so P is equal to FV. We found that the force we're going to use, some force is equal to ma. Let's start substituting. We're trying to find the E, right? We wanted minus 650, which is the resistance force, is equal to the mass 1800 times the acceleration, which is 0.5. So you're going to get E is equal to, let's do it on our calculator over here, 1550. Okay, sorry, 1550. Make sure, yeah. Okay, now that we know that the force is 1550, okay, we're going to do P is equal to 1550 times 20, which is equal to 31,000 watts or 31 kilowatts. Okay, so that's part A, solved very easily. So if you want the examiner that's correcting your paper not to be confused, you can say the force F is equal to E. Okay, so that when you write this E, they don't get confused. Or if you want, you can say that the force, you could say instead of the force F, the force, or yeah, you could just say the force F is E. Okay, you could just say this. So when you write this E over here, they don't get confused. That's it. Okay, you can say this if you want. Anyway, part B, find now the steady speed which the car can maintain working at this power. So now we're saying working with this power, P is equal to 31 kilowatts from part A. Find the steady speed that which the car can maintain. Okay, what's the keyword? Steady speed. What does that mean? Acceleration is equal to 0, right? So what does that mean? Again, when we're working with forces, draw your FBD. So we're going to reuse the same FBD. I'll just redraw it for you. Okay, here's your y-axis, your x-axis. Okay, let's redraw our forces. We have the E force, we have our weight, we have our resistance, and we have N. Okay, so steady speed means A equals 0, okay? We know that, how do you get speed or velocity from power? We know that P is equal to force times velocity. So we know that velocity is equal to the power divided by the force. So I have the power, but I need the force. How do I find the force? Similar to how you did earlier. Always when you're finding the force when you're working with power, it's either equal to ma or it's equal to 0. But here it's going to be equal to 0. Why? Because we said steady speed. So we don't have acceleration. So what we're going to say here, sigma fx is equal to 0. Right? Okay, so what does that mean? E is equal to R, and what's R aslan equal to? 650. So we figured out what the force is, so 650. So therefore, V is equal to the power 31,000. Don't forget to convert it to watts over 650, and you get 47.7. Okay, so 47.7 meter per second. Okay, let's take a look at our marking scheme over here. So for part A, saying this, what we said here, what they call the force, by the way, done by the power, they call DF. It stands for driving force. Okay, you can use that if you want. I use E. Okay, so there's a mark for this. Okay, over here. So let's draw it in purple. This is one mark. One mark for. Okay, you don't have to write this, but if you get this over here, that counts, and obviously one mark for the correct answer. Okay, so this is one mark over here. Type over here we have one mark for saying this, and one mark for the answer. Okay. By the way, you need to have the formula written. Okay. Anything you can, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be V is equal to 31,000. Like, see how they wrote it here? They wrote it like this, but this is the same as what I wrote. Hatta if you wrote P 31,000, if you wrote it like this, is equal to 650 V, that will also get you the mark. It's the same thing. It's just a formula rearranged. Okay. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. But I need to make this 8 minutes, so let me add 20 seconds. Let me think of something to say. Type. Yeah, so this is what all these letters stand for. So M is actually for, like, you actually mark it. Okay. A is like, so whenever you see the B, it basically says you don't have to write it, but it depends on what your answer does, what you get from answer. If you have this and you get this, you get 3 marks. You don't necessarily have to have this. That's what B stands for, by the way. Okay, I think also we reached 8 minutes. Yep, thank you so much for watching, and good luck.